They're turning out in big numbers now for the special election for what's called Proposition 50. That's the measure backed by Governor Newsom and former President Obama that would allow mid-decade redistricting. This is to counter Republican efforts in states like Texas to boost their numbers in Congress. With millions of ballots already cast, Democrats hold a clear early advantage. Republicans, they're calling it a partisan power grab that undermines the state's independent process.
Which, of course, it is on both sides of the aisle. Political strategist Jeanette Hoffman here in the diner to break down what this turnout means for California and the country. Look, this is one of the worst things about politics, right? It is letting politicians choose their voters instead of what it should be, which is voters choosing their politicians. So what do you make of what's happening in California?
Well, everybody hates gerrymandering except when they're in office, and then they want to do it, right? Because they want to stack the deck for their party and get as many seats as possible. So let's go back in time a little bit to when Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor in California.
California.
He wanted to terminate gerrymandering, right? That's his legacy. So he advocated for a nonpartisan gerrymandering advocacy. So he put that on the ballot, and it passed. So now citizens are allowed to redraw the districts. What Gavin Newsom wants to do is get rid of that. So this is what Prop 50 is all about, to allow politicians to draw the districts. So now Arnold's really opposed to this, and Republicans are really opposed to this. But Gavin Newsom is saying, hey, Texas did it, we're going to do it too. We want 5 Democratic seats to get rid of Texas's 5 Republican seats to stand up to Trump.
I was reading a CBS News poll, and when you speak of President Trump, is this largely about voting against the president, if you will?
Yeah, and that's what Gavin Newsom and Barack Obama, who's out there campaigning for it, are saying. Look, California, we got to stand up to President Trump because we're not being treated fairly in this state.
Yeah,
so that's the campaign that they're...
We're going to play that sound for you and then have you comment on it afterwards.
Yeah.
Let's take a listen at this commercial.
California, the whole nation is counting on you. Democracy is on the ballot November 4th. Republicans want to steal enough seats in Congress to rig the next election and wield unchecked power for 2 more years. With Prop 50, you can stop Republicans in their tracks. Prop 50 puts our elections back on a level playing field, preserves independent redistricting over the long term, and lets the people decide. Return your ballot today. Vote yes on 50.
There you go. So as you said, there's a big push to say if you're doing this in opposition to the president.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what Gavin Newsom wants to make the argument about, that California is not being treated fairly. We need to fight back.
But Jeanette,
Allison?
isn't that true? I mean, isn't it true that they are fighting fire with fire? I don't know that Gavin Newsom would have made this a big issue had it not started with Republican and President Trump's efforts in Texas. I mean, I think that they think that this is what they must do. Do you buy that argument?
Well, listen, I also think this is about Gavin Newsom and his higher aspirations to run for president, Allison. Listen, he is pretty much one of the highest profile Democrats taking on Trump here. So this is not just about California. This is about Gavin Newsom running for higher office. And I'll just say, this isn't just in Texas and California. This is going on all around the country in red states and blue states. They're trying to re-rig their maps for the midterms in 2026. It's happening in Louisiana, it's happening in Utah, it's happening in North Carolina. You can name a whole handful of states.
And what those states have in common is they're red, and Republicans have a much bigger playing field, a much bigger map to do so.
Because
if you look
blue
at the
states
maps.
have gerrymandered almost everything.
Well,
so
that's
far.
not actually why. It's just the math between now and 2026, and because both parties have done this. But what's different is the mid-decade part of it, right? And that's the part I think both parties should agree should be taken off the table.
Because it's usually done every decade.
It's usually done after the
decade.
census. After the census,
right.
Because once you get the census numbers, you should look at the census and say, oh, okay, like, people have shifted, population demographics have shifted, so let's, change the maps around. But Democrats in Maryland are looking to do it too. So
It's not just President Obama Californians are hearing from. The GOP also has an ad running. Want to take a look at that? Or not.
There it is.
Prop Prop 50 is another bait and switch from career politicians. Just like how Prop 47 was named the Safe Neighborhoods and Schools Act, it did the exact opposite. Ushered in a decade of retail theft and record crime. Prop 50 is called the Election Rigging Response Act, but you need to read the fine print. It actually rigs our elections to the benefit of career politicians, political consultants, and special interests. Stop rigged elections now. Vote no on Prop 50.
Any indication on whether or not it will pass?
I think right now the yes vote is ahead by a significant amount right now. And so it has till November 4th, till Election Day, for people to vote on it. And you're going to see a lot more campaigns. I know Arnold Schwarzenegger is out campaigning against it. Republicans are against it. A lot of money is being spent on both sides on this.
Yep. The other interesting thing about California that makes it, unique is that these propositions can get put on the ballot at any time.
Right.
And then there's this huge amount of spending on both sides to try to get that passed.
Yeah, exactly. And now Gavin Newsom is saying this is a temporary initiative. So it's suspending the citizens' map decision just temporarily to get this map through. So it would allow 5 Democratic seats, right? Now, Republicans only have 11 seats. So that's significant. That would be a significant change.
All right, Jeanette Hoffman, thanks for joining us here at the table. We appreciate it this morning.
Always fun to be with you guys.
Always. All right.